two teenagers have been arrested in connection with the murder of a police officer in Gqeberha. That, of course, is in the Eastern Cape. Constable Callan Andrews was disarmed of his weapon and robbed while on duty on New Year's Eve. The Hawks say two suspects who've been arrested in connection with this are aged just 17 and 18 years, and they're expected in court tomorrow. For more, let's bring in the father of the late constable, that's Brett Andrews, who joins us now via our telephone line. And Brett, our deepest and most sincere condolences to you and the family. Thank you so much for making time to speak to us here on the SABC News channel. As you can imagine, there's been a lot of attention on what's taken place, but I wonder if you could clear for us what you know to have happened.
Good morning to you, and thank you very much for your condolences. It's much appreciated. Good morning to your listeners. What I know is that on New Year's Eve, at about past 5 in the evening, my son and his partner was attending a complaint in Cobus Road, Gowendale, where they had 3 complainants in the van, in the police van, and apparently they were on their way to take them to the police station to lay a complaint. The van then had some technical difficulties. It had to be kick-started. He got out as he was the passenger. He got out and they kick-started the van. He was assisted with by kids in the community. And as the van was going to make a U-turn to come back for him, he was then attacked by I don't know how many perpetrators. That's still unclear to me. He was disarmed and then he was shot. I don't know if he was shot with his own firearm or another firearm. So yes.
Sure. Really devastating to hear that. I suppose what's also stood out for many people is the fact that it's teenagers who are said to be involved here. How have you responded to that?
Yes, I'm a bit numb at the moment. For me, justice must just take its course. And whoever's responsible needs to give answers on what and why and how. You know, but what's done is done. It's difficult for us as a family going through a hell of a time. It's very, very, very difficult for us. So yes, justice must take its course. The law must go in the direction it must go. But whatever comes to them, they deserve it. They murdered my son in cold blood. He was a very, very, very good child. I am biased maybe in saying that, but he was a very, very humble. He was a gentleman. He's always willing to help people. He would lay his life on the line. Even before he was a police officer, he would lay his life on the line for a stranger. That's who it was.
Yeah, absolutely. My goodness, difficult is probably an understatement. Brett, you must have so many questions. I mean, you know, there's obviously being real concerns about whether a whole lot more could have been done to protect other police officers who are in similar situations.
Yes, that's another thing in itself. This has been a consistent problem in the SAPS. They are sending our members out. I'm a police officer myself, and on a daily basis, I face these challenges. And there's a tendency of sending our police officers out to do dangerous work ill-equipped, and literally ill-equipped. You know, it's almost like the SAPS is having a production line now, with new constables coming through, just sending them, and they get murdered or they get injured, and then they just fill up that space. It's just another number. You know, with no proper training, no proper guidance. We used to have FTOs at the police station, field training officers, that took these new constables under their wing and guide them But he was sent out like he was an old veteran policeman. You know, he's just received 6 months of training, and that's it. He's never done security or policing work even in his life before. So what he knew is what he was taught at college in that short amount of time. So yes, I am not happy with the state of affairs with the SAPS, and as a member myself of the SAPS, I know the challenges firsthand. I know what our police officers go through on a daily basis. And to tell you the truth, the SAPS is reactive. They are waiting for something like this to happen, and then yes, now we got to do something. Now we got to look at it. But they don't really look at it. It just continues and it continues and it continues. We will definitely be losing more police officers because of the way they are managing the SAPS at the moment.
Sure. Have you heard from, I don't know what the term is, his managers, you know, the people who would have made that call to send him out that night?
Yes, I've been in meetings and with him. What I can say is that my focus at this moment is to give my son the funeral or the sending off that he deserves, dignified. But the gloves is coming off when we are done with this. The gloves is definitely coming off. I'm not gonna. My son his death is not going to be in vain. I told the commissioner, the provincial commissioner, I had a meeting with him, and I told him, I've got questions, but not now. After my son is buried, I've got questions, and I want the answers to those questions. What I also can say is that his managers at the police station and the SAPS as a whole has supported us very, very well. We can't fault them there. They've been with us every step of the way. But we can't wait for a police officer to die, and then we want to do something about it, and then we don't really also do anything about it. You know, they're sending our policemen to the slaughter, plain and simple. You go out, you go work there, whatever work happens with you. Just a number, we give you a burial, and there you go. You know, so I'm not saying that they don't feel anything, but they are definitely not doing enough. Absolutely not.
Sure. My understanding is that there's a march that's expected to be held sometime later today. I'm not sure if, as a family, you even have the strength to be part of that, but I do imagine that there's some kind of message you're hoping will be sent through that initiative.
Yes, we will be addressing the maintenance of vehicles, the working conditions of the police officials. We will be handing over a memorandum to the station commissioner at Gqeberha Police Station, and we also I don't understand that area, the Gqeberha area, is under siege. I told the station commissioner now the other day when we had a meeting that you have no control whatsoever over that area. It's a very dangerous area. That area is ruled and run by the gangsters. Those gangsters are blatantly saying that they don't fear the police. They would shoot at the police as the van is passing, just randomly. So I don't feel that a concerted effort has been made to do something about it. We are having a production line of police officers here, and as they're coming in, we're sending them out to their death, and then we'll just replace them with another police officer coming out of the college. It is totally unacceptable. But that is what we're going to address today, and then just make my son's name known. His passing is not going to be in vain. I will make sure of that. And I've been supported, very well supported by the community. I also want to say thank you to everybody for all the messages that they sent and the support they gave us. And Callan's shift and Callan's where he was working at the police station, his shift and his colleagues, I want to thank them very much for what they've been for him and the support that they've given him in for the short 2 months plus that he was a police officer. He was well loved, well respected. There was not one dry eye at that police station upon his passing.
Sure. Can imagine. And of course, what's not lost to us, as you've just mentioned, Brett, is that you yourself are a member of the SAPS. It suggests to us a special relationship you must have shared with your son, who seemed to have wanted to have followed in your footsteps in some ways.
Yes, absolutely. You know how proud he was to be a police officer. I can't imagine even myself being so proud as he was when I was still a rookie. He was so proud. I would in the mornings, I would drive him to his shift and pick him up. He didn't have a driver's license either. He was not a driver. He was never interested in driving. But I would catch him in the morning standing in front of a mirror, looking at himself proudly, wearing his uniform, eager. As we are driving, we'll have chats, and I would always caution him about being gung-ho, and I always told him, Callan, your survival, you serving the community depends on your survival. If you don't survive and you are incapacitated, you won't be able to help anybody else. So your number one is you. First, see to your survival. Then you can help somebody else. And we had our chats, and I was more like a mentor for him. There was a reason why I had to drop him off and pick him up every morning. You know, and I thank God for that time. That was special times that we had together and we shared together. We're driving, sitting next to each other, smoking a cigarette, laughing and joking, you know. I'm going to miss those times, yeah, but what's done is done.
Sure. Incredible courage. Brett Andrews, anybody who's lost a loved one will tell you how difficult it is to even speak about them just days after the tragedy that's just befallen your family. So thank you very much for taking the time to speak to the SABC News Channel. Even the English language doesn't have a word to describe parents who've lost their loved ones. That's how devastating that particular loss is. Brett Andrews, once again, thanks very much indeed. He is the father of Constable Callan Andrews, who was sadly murdered, allegedly by two teenagers